On my timer here. I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube, Joel Sains. I'm joined by my buddy Daniel Culver, Killenberg. We're here to talk the state of professional wrestling. Yes, it still exists. It's still around. In case nobody realized that, I'm sure people do. So, I mean, the two main companies, we know what they are, WWE and AEW. Then there's TNA, which I don't really watch. I barely watch WWE. I just enough pay attention to it that to know somewhat what's going on. I know the Bloodline storyline's been going on for 2 years, which is 2 years too long. Um, I want to get your thoughts on it. What do you think? Because the one thing I hear people say about SmackDown is, what's got the Bloodline storyline? It's had that storyline for 2 years now. What do you think of that? Do you think they should have ended that sooner or what?
Yeah, I think they should have. Like it has been going on for too long. Yeah. And I actually think really Cody should have won last year at WrestleMania since there was all that build up and then they had him lose.
Yeah. I think that they should have, because you could have still brought The Rock back this year. For those for those who don't know what the plan was, everything I heard was that The Rock was supposed to beat Roman Reigns for the title or some shit like that. That's what I always heard. So I'm like, and I guess that's why they did this whole bloodline storyline. There was supposed to be more of the Rock's family members involved. Now that still might happen. I don't know if it will or won't at WrestleMania. I'm not making a prediction. Um, yeah, I'm with you on this because it's just, while Monday Night Raw has had very little story around their champion. I mean, other than like these feuds that are okay, they're decent, but they're not great. My biggest issue with Raw is you've got a 3 hour show, and your 3 hours is now they're not going to have this excuse on Netflix, so if you have commercials mixed in. But my problem with Raw is they do nothing week to week. I remember a time when on Monday Night Raw, the title was defended like almost every other week, or at least every week, and they don't do that anymore. It's like there was this unpredictability. You didn't know who was going to have the title. Like I remember Undertaker having it one time. I remember Kane having it one time. I remember Austin having it, because the threat was, well, if Vince McMahon is a threat to Stone Cold, how was that supposed to be realistic? Because realistically, Stone Cold could beat the shit out of Vince McMahon. Well, the way he's a threat is he hires other wrestlers to get the belt back. I mean, it makes sense, but they don't have that type of story no more. But you could still have people facing your champion. I mean, which I think that's something I miss. I don't know if they'll do that on uh, Raw when it goes to Netflix. Here's another one for you. Do you think when Raw goes to Netflix, they go PG-13?
That's actually a question. Honestly, I have a feeling they actually won't because there's always been this talk about them going back to that, but
The
people always ends up being not true. Like, and I know I think it was either last year or the year before, there was even a rumor they were gonna go, back, and then they didn't, and then there was later reports that said like that it might not happen after all, and but a lot of people didn't catch the later reports for some reason.
yeah, well, Pat, the guy that's there on Raw now, Pat McAfee, when he was on SmackDown, he said we're going back to PG-13. They're going to go back to PG-13. And here's the thing: he reported this not only on there. This was before his show was on ESPN. He reported it on his show on YouTube. Now, I watch that show religiously more on YouTube than I ever do on ESPN. Um, and that dude, when he reports something, it's not incorrect. So I do think he was correct. I just think they changed it on him because they were too scared to do it. Because if they can't get good storytelling from PG-13. What's their excuse? That and their fallback excuses are sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
Here's my thing of that. Your sponsorship has been seeing The Rock cuss and people cuss even though it's censored and stuff like that. And my thing of it is your sponsorship didn't pull over cussing. Your sponsorship pulled away when Vince McMahon, their former owner, was fucking his paralegals. Pardon my language. That's when they pulled out. So, like, to me, and you watch television, I'm sure. With television, your audience is your sponsorship. Like, no one gave, like, if it's on, I was always told if it's on from 9 o'clock on, pretty much all bets are off and they'll show anything. I remember when I was growing up, like the cartoons they used to show were like very adult themed. I'm not saying they had sex in them necessarily, but they had nudity. And that was on at like 12:30. And Raw was on from I think 8 to 10 when we was all growing up and stuff. And dude, they flipped the finger, they said bitch, they said every word. I just feel unless there's going to be direct competition for Monday Night Raw, they're not going to do anything. I mean, and I want to get your thoughts on SmackDown too, because what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Raw just needs competition, or what is it?
Yeah, that could be. I'm not really sure. Like, hopefully things get better at least.
Yeah, I will. Well, people point out like when Monday Night Football happens, Raw tries to do like more edgier stuff. Well, here's the problem with that. Monday Night Football only runs till so long. Like it only runs for the fall, and then once the fall is over, that's it. Monday Night Football doesn't like they don't do Monday nights doesn't do playoff games. You know what I mean? Like they never in my life of as long as I've watched football, there's never been a Monday playoff game. Unless it's rare, but I think there was maybe one. It might have been Cleveland Pittsburgh, but I think that was because it got moved. But that was so long ago, I can't even remember how long ago it was. So that's my thing. Like they don't do play normally. The NFL doesn't do Monday playoff games, so it's not like if they're gonna honestly like have better content, like you need to have first of all, who is Seth Rollins? Like who is he as a character? He dresses like Randy Savage. They're giving him like the Randy Savage look. I mean, my issue with that is I grew up watching Randy Savage, and that dude was edgy as hell. No matter what colors he wore, he could wear these bright ass colors and be really intense. You ever see him as the Macho King?
I probably have, but I didn't, I wasn't alive when he was really in his prime. For those that don't know, I
Well,
was born in 1992.
what's really interesting is like when for him to like feud with the Ultimate Warrior when they were setting that up, like Ultimate Warrior was versing Sergeant Slaughter at the Royal Rumble, okay, or it might have been WrestleMania, one of the two. And the Macho King comes down with a scepter, this a king scepter, and he clocks Ultimate Warrior over the head, and it breaks like glass and
Well,
stuff. Like it's like it was probably sugar glass, but still.
oh yeah, probably.
Like Sergeant Slaughter beats the Ultimate Warrior that way, and it sets up a retirement match. Oh yeah, it was at Rumble. It sets up a retirement match at WrestleMania that year between Macho King and Ultimate Warrior. And well, you can guess who won. It was Ultimate Warrior. He won. Uh, it was a pretty good match, but the way Savage would dress, he dressed in like this purple and white colors. It was all bright and stuff. But he had such an attitude with him. Like even though he was going against a guy who was bigger than him, muscular and size, he wasn't scared of the Ultimate Warrior. Like that's something I miss too with like wrestlers. Like when Shawn Michaels was going against the Undertaker at Hell in a Cell, Shawn Michaels was not scared of the Undertaker. He said, "I'll kick your ass," and it's like, is this guy out of his mind? Like, he's like nose to nose with the Undertaker, and then when Hell in a Cell happened, yeah, Shawn Michaels didn't get much offense, and until Kane came down and like manhandled the Undertaker. Um, what are some of your favorite moments from wrestling? I'm sorry, I'm rambling on here.
Um, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Remember when Eric Bischoff got fired?
Yeah. Yeah. Cena put him in the dump truck or something, the garbage truck.
Yeah, that's
Shit. I remember when what was it? When and this was when WCW was run by, well, I'll say this, like people talk about the Bill Watts days and stuff. Well, I watched WCW during those days, and here's the thing: the people who did not tell um, the guy who was ultimately put in charge. No, I'm not talking about Eric Bischoff. I'm talking about the guy who was before him. Not Bill. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. He was so stupid. He wanted this. He wanted like these strange gimmicks. Which I mean, here's the thing. I'm a fan of gimmick wrestling as long as it's like entertaining and makes sense. Like Goldust made sense to me. Okay. Um, Earthquake made sense to me. That's a gimmick. Like, I could see a big guy being called Earthquake. I could see a big guy being called Typhoon. I mean, I get that. I could see a big guy being made, from the land of the dead, like the Undertaker was. That became a bigger gimmick. But my thing of it is when you have a guy who calls himself the Black Scorpion. Okay, and this was just so nuts. They had a guy dressed in like a black mask, and he wore masks underneath it in case he got his mask pulled off, so you couldn't tell who it was. And the Black Scorpion was basically a bunch of different wrestlers. And from everything I heard about it, like from behind the scenes, the guy who I guess they wanted the guy who was running WCW at the time wanted Ultimate Warrior. Well, here's was the problem, and even the bookers told him this. The guys who were writing the show told him this. We can't get Ultimate Warrior because, well, he works for the other company. You realize that would be breach of like we would be sued for contortious interference. Like he's under contract to the other company. We can't get him to be this Black Scorpion that you have here. So, and by the way, Ric Flair was backstage. He was like one of the bookers or one of the members of the committee at the time or something. And finally, after hearing all the arguments and shit, he just said, "Fuck it, I'll be the Black Scorpion." He just said, "Fuck." And so when they revealed revealed the Black Scorpion, and you could tell it was Ric Flair even underneath the mask. It just is they. I will give Ric Flair this: when they actually wrestled, when he was the Black Scorpion and him and Sting went at it, Ric Flair did every different kind of move that wasn't in his wrestling repertoire to confuse the audience to make sure nobody knew it was him. But here's the thing: with Ric Flair's face underneath a mask, yeah, you could tell. You could still tell it's Ric Flair. Um, you know. And then when a horseman came down, you could really tell. So that was one of the. I mean, was the match entertaining? Yeah, because it's Flair and Sting. But the whole angle, that what it was built upon, was just stupid. Like, what were they thinking? Like, whoever agreed to like say, "Oh yeah, this is a good idea," to me, they deserve to be fired.
Yeah.
Like, to me, because I can't believe they didn't do this. I would have the guy who was the fake Sting for the NWO. And I think he was around at the time, not in WCW, but in Japan. I would have hired him to just dress the Sting and have a Sting versus Sting match. Like, okay, who's the real Sting? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Like, you know what I mean? But now the WWE did this with the Undertaker, but that wasn't a good match. The build to the match was good, but the match wasn't good. Did you ever see that whole how they did that?
I actually have. That's before I started watching too, but I do know of it. Like, I think I have seen at least a clip or an image of it. Like, I know like the Underfaker, as a lot of people call him, had gray gloves on for some reason.
Well, when Undertaker had wrestled before they ascended him to heaven, um, he wore gray gloves.
Oh, I
So
see.
they when they brought back this fake Undertaker, he wore the gray gloves. So when the real Undertaker came back, he wore like purple gloves. And what was funny to me, like before like the match of WrestleMania, the person they hire to find the real Undertaker was fucking Leslie Nielsen. And I fucking rolled when they did that because, like, if you've ever seen Naked Gun, you get the joke. Like, have you ever seen that movie?
I've actually heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, you gotta go watch it. It's hilarious. Because Leslie Nielsen gets hired to find the Undertaker, and he's looking in the locker room. He's asking people, "Have you seen the Undertaker? I'm looking for him. Have you seen him?" And they're like looking at him like, "Well, how would we see the Undertaker? Didn't he go to heaven?"
Hmm.
Like, motherfucker. Oh my god. It was hilarious how they did. I thought that was funny when they got Leslie Nielsen to do that. That was funny. Because like when you if you ever see the movie, I think it's called Airplane, where it's Leslie Nielsen and the one guy from Unsolved Mysteries and stuff like that. They take all these serious actors and they put them in this comedy. And they originally wanted Charlton Heston in one of the roles, but he said, "I don't get the joke." And it was the guy who did Unsolved Mysteries who was friends with Charlton Heston told him, "Chuck, we're the joke. We the tough guys. We're the punchline." That's that's too good.
You know
I'll
who?
t-
Oh, you know. Oh, good.
Go ahead, sir.
You know what's a good moment in wrestling? Is Jericho's debut? Well, WWF debut.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing: like when you watch him in WCW and how good he was, like he should have been a top like a big deal in WCW. There, when he came to WWE, when he as the Millennium Man, they counted down The Rock. That was too good. I mean, that was one of the biggest pops I heard, and deserved too. He was a great talker. You ever see him in WCW where he had Ralphus, the security guard, and stuff?
Oh no, I actually haven't.
Well, Ralphus was actually a truck driver in real life, and so Jericho hires him as a security guard as like a joke, like, "Oh, this is my security, Ralphus. He'll take you down." And it's like it's a truck driver
Hmm.
who can't. It's like there's no way. He was just so funny back in WCW. And it's like he was annoying too. It's like you're just waiting for some dude to like punch this guy in the mouth. I mean, he was a great heel. And he comes to WWE because people saw he was getting held back. I mean, a lot of the smaller talent did. That's another thing too. Like I know people don't want, well, probably wouldn't want me to bring this up, but I'll bring it up because I watched him in WCW. And again, I'm not saying look what he did to his wife and son was wrong, But when Chris Benoit was in WCW, he definitely got held down. Whether people want to own that or not.
That's actually pretty interesting because he's one of the wrestlers that WCW. Well, according to Paul Heyman, stole. You know how that goes.
Well, here's no wrestler really gets stolen to a degree because Paul Heyman was, and this I learned this from Vince Russo's podcast, and this is probably what it was too. He was saying that Paul Heyman was telling the ECW talent that they're at war with WWE when secretly they're getting $1,000 check from Vince McMahon.
I wouldn't be surprised because, for those that don't know, yes, WWF, at the time, WWF was actually helping ECW.
Yeah, to defeat Nitro.
Yeah, that's why that one time when on the episode of Raw, that's why like the WCW people were suddenly invaded because they actually had to deal with them.
Yeah, when they showed Rob Van Dam and the Sandman on there, my brother's like, "Wait, is there a takeover?" I'm like, "Dude, there's some sort of deal going on." I said, "Vince McMahon is not going to put people on his show that he doesn't have a deal with them." Like, and that's how he operated, and you knew how he operated, and it's like the deal was that some ECW talent would go to WWE and some WWE talent would go to ECW. Well, they kept sending WWE talent like Jim Cornette and all that stuff down to ECW when they were getting nothing in return. And when Vince Russo became the head writer, he said, "Vince, aren't we supposed to be getting, some of the, because they weren't getting anybody. They weren't getting it. They weren't getting Van Dam. They weren't getting like anybody." And he said that. He said, "Why aren't we getting them? Like we're both. That's the deal." And Vince said, "Yeah, you're right." And that's the thing. Like Paul Heyman loves to lie his ass off. It's like, come on, dude. And here's the thing: when ECW would come on, people might forget this. ECW didn't air till like midnight and sometimes later. I remember when they were on at 1 a.m. in the morning on East Coast time, and they're an hour long. They were an hour long, and it's like their matches were like they would have one, maybe two matches, or a promo and a match, and it would be violent. So from a cable television standpoint, I can't even say they were on prime time. They were on what I'd call after dark hours.
I believe they called that I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but this is what a lot of people called the graveyard shift.
Yeah,
The graveyard slot, actually, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was too.
Sorry, I said shift, but I meant slot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like God, like you're coming on after 12 o'clock. That's crazy. But you saw why too. They had blood on there. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's true. Like a lot of people might not be surprised about this, but yes, people did in fact complain that time, Leo. Because people, I know it sounds weird, but some people saw that on the internet. They're like, "Wow, that's pretty messed up," And I know it's weird hearing about the internet back then, but yes, it did exist then.
yeah. Too bad they didn't complain about them some of them infomercials at 3 a.m. that came on. God.
Okay. Oh yeah. For those that don't know, this thing about we're talking about where they made WWE and ECW had a deal. For those that don't know, this is not a conspiracy theory. If you watch the Rise and Fall of ECW, they mention this.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to guess once the ECW guys are coming on Raw and like fighting. It's like, come on, there's some sort of deal. I tell you, when WCW was on, I was most shocked that like when some of the ECW guys came on there under contract because this is the same company that got rid of Cactus Jack Mick Foley because they thought he was a liability. Well, when you're hiring hardcore wrestlers, aren't they a liability? Like,
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
All of Raven's matches were hardcore matches.
Oh yeah, it's true. Oh yeah, you probably already know this, but you know how Jerry Lawler used to call ECW extremely crappy wrestling?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but he really actually does hate ECW. The reason why is how they said they revolutionized hardcore wrestling. He was actually doing hardcore matches before ECW was even a thing.
Yeah, he was doing them in Mid South and
Oh,
like the Southern promotion.
oh, you know what? Sorry for me bringing that up. I think you mentioned that one of your statuses.
No, that's the thing. Like Lawler for years would wrestle hardcore matches, but so he wasn't the only one though. There was classy Freddie Blassie wrestled hardcore matches. Terry Funk wrestled hardcore match. Here,
Oh yeah,
when you watch some of like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes' cage matches, now a cage match isn't necessarily classified as hardcore, but there was a lot of blood in the matches in them early days.
that's true.
And here's the thing: I'm gonna completely shatter the glass slipper that is Cody Rhodes. Um, Guys, if you're listening to this podcast, Dusty Rhodes was never a WWE guy. You're welcome.
I heard that has something to do with it, like a little bit. Like apparently, Dusty wasn't treated well in WWE, so Cody
well,
wanted to be kind of bigger. I
well,
forgot
here's
how you were saying. What's that?
here's the weird part. When Dusty went to the WWE, it was after Jim Crockett got bought by WCW, bought by Ted Turner, and he wanted to go to WWE for a run. And Vince McMahon put him in yellow polka dots. Now, there's a moment Cody Rhodes mentions where, Dusty Rhodes was supposed to win the World Heavyweight Championship, and there's a picture of Dusty Rhodes holding the belt, but they gave it to Hulk Hogan instead. Um, Here's the thing of that. Yes, there is a picture of Dusty Rhodes holding the World Heavyweight title, but here's the problem with that. Um, when Dusty Rhodes was holding that title, he wasn't under contract to WWE. That was a cross promotional deal they were doing. And they wanted to give Dusty was working for, I think it was the Florida Championship Wrestling. And they wanted to have Dusty take a picture with the title at the time as to say, what if? Like, what if he won it? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, but it was never promised to him. So, hey, I'll be right back. Go ahead and talk. I'm sorry.
Okay. Actually, it's interesting. Joel mentions. Well, it was actually called Championship Wrestling for. I mean, it was called Championship Wrestling for Florida. But interesting fact about that, my grandpa used to take my dad to the events when that was a company. Now there actually was something called Florida Championship Wrestling, which was based on that. Like it was like WWE's like training thing for a while. For those that don't know, that was before NXT was a thing.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
It's just crazy that. See, I remember OVW. Like John Cena and them, Batista, the people say, well, they were NXT, but they weren't. They were
NXT didn't
OVW.
exist yet. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you.
But they were OVW.
Yeah, NXT came out in like what 2011? Oh, wait, no, 2010.
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I remember when NXT first came out. It was like, it was like kind of like a reality show kind of thing. Like a game show. Like we like the winner was the next breakout star, but then the Nexus became a thing. The winner of NXT, Wade Barrett, was the leader. Fun fact for those that might not be aware, Bray Wyatt was in NXT, but he was Husky Harris at the time. Oh, and Ryback was Skip Sheffield. Oh, sorry for the pause. I'm thinking about more stuff to talk about.
All right, sorry about that.
Oh, that's great. Just let you know there might be some pauses because I actually couldn't think of what else to talk about.
It's all right. It's all right. I will say that, and here's what I'll say about Benoit and WCW, that people talk about he had an affair with Nancy Sullivan. Well, okay, people knew about that affair too. And you have a guy who, and Kevin Sullivan, who's the booker, and Chris Benoit, who, ends up marrying Nancy, during, while they're in WCW. Well, the biggest issue is, how can you have one guy who's the booker who is booking Chris Benoit matches, and he knows he married his ex-wife? I just find that really suspicious. I
Yeah,
mean, you know what I mean?
that's a good point.
But here's the thing, though, too. What Benoit did in WWE, that was wrong. I'm not taking I'm not saying what he did wasn't wrong. It was very wrong. But
Yeah, I agree.
the treatment he got in WCW, what Benoit got in WCW was wrong. And it's something nobody talks about now. Whether, because all this whole controversy, they need to really go back and examine all that, like what happened in WCW more thoroughly, because I mean, there was a lot of unprofessional. You could tell there was some unprofessional bullshit going on there. Like, come on, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, to me, Booker T should have been champion before he was. Like, he was really a great talent.
Oh yeah, that's true. One thing that's kind of frightening with Benoit, actually, you might already know this, but the weekend when he did what he did, he was supposed to actually win the ECW championship.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's kind of scary to think about. Like, it's actually possible that that's what's really kind of frightening, because it's possible he could have, murdered them. Excuse my language.
No,
And
right.
then became champion. That, of course, then again, he would have been arrested if that happened.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, to me, there were, you know how dangerous concussions are now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I understand not wanting to have, violent chair shots across the head. That's fine. But you can still do moves that aren't necessarily too dangerous, but look realistic enough. I mean, wrestling has always made the moves look, you got to sell the move too. That's a lost
That's true.
art. That's become it. It's all Circus Soleil, high flying. That's, to me, doing all those high risk moves. And that's, Bobby the Brain Heenan said this, and he didn't necessarily like luchador wrestling, but he did say this. He goes, well, they call it high risk for a reason. That's because, okay, let's say you're supposed to miss a move, and yeah, you know how to take a bump, but you land on your back. Okay, you're still landing on your back. I mean,
That's true.
Or even if you do like I think the diving headbutt is outlawed now. I don't know. I don't watch wrestling enough. I only watch it for so many. I don't see it too often if it is done, but it would make sense to outlaw moves like headshots, like chair shots to the head. I remember when WCW had the rule you could not throw somebody over the top rope because it was a disqualification, because it's dangerous to throw somebody over the top rope. And part of that makes sense, but still.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, well, how does that? I forget the wrestler they did this to. They disqualified somebody for going because you couldn't. They also had a rule under Bill Watts you couldn't go off the top turnbuckle. And I'm like, oh wow, that's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
And they disqualified somebody for going off the top turnbuckle during a match. And I'm thinking, I get it was done. Like, I don't think the rule was put in for story purposes, but I get why they used it for that. It's like, but still to have like that type of rule, and you have guys who have moves that are specifically off the top rope, that's sort of stupid.
Oh yeah, I agree.
like, like Brian Pillman was in their company. He had a move off the top rope.
Oh wow.
like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
like, why do you have that rule?
Yeah, that is a weird rule.
What do you think is like the strangest thing going on in wrestling right now?
Strangest thing. It's actually a good question. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with the one that's I don't know if you heard about, but well, you know how The Rock is calling himself the final boss now?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there was a AEW wrestler that already had that name.
Are they suing him for copyright?
I don't I'm not sure. Like I don't remember who it was, but it was a female wrestler. I remember, but I don't think she's suing. I think it's just something that's like if they might, you never know, they might sue, like, or she might sue, or they might sue, like. But I think as of right now, it's just like you stole my name kind of situation.
See, like the writers should be more creative with that. Like when Co- when they say, "Well, The Rock's the final boss," Cody Rhodes said, "Oh, you hear that, Roman? You're the champion, but you're not the final boss. The Rock is. That means you're The Rock's bitch."
Oh yeah,
like that's oh god, that's I did hear about the final boss, and I'll tell you this, like I actually I did watch the attack on Cody Rhodes he pulled off. I thought that was entertaining. I will say that they always do this edgy shit going into WrestleMania, and then people will be like, "Oh, the Attitude Era is back." No, this is just what they do going into WrestleMania. But
yeah, it's true.
they don't keep this continuity going though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and for those that don't know, I don't remember the exact quote. I'll say it the best I can, but it's like Paul Heyman said when that whole thing with him faking the mocking Jerry Lawler's heart attack with CM Punk. He said, "You all say you want the Attitude Era back, but then I give you a taste of Attitude, and then you don't want it, or then you don't really want it." I remember how he said it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing: the Attitude Era isn't just it's like real crossing the line work comments that get made. Like when CM Punk CM Punk made Seth Rollins look really stupid on Raw. And he goes, "Well, that's his I don't know if you guys noticed, but that's his counting hand and because it's in like a cast or something." Well, CM Punk got down on his knees and stuff and counted 1, 2, 3 with his left hand. I'm thinking, how stupid right now does Seth Rollins' character look?
Oh yeah,
like, bro, like CM Punk did not have to say another word after that. It's like he just made your world champion look stupid because your world champion isn't smart enough to realize, hey, the guy's got two hands. like
oh yeah.
who I'd like to meet the writer that wrote if somebody wrote Seth Rollins that line, they need fired. Like, I'm sorry. If I was like, if I were writing Seth Rollins, it'd be like, why don't you get out of my ring before I put your other arm in a cast? That's what I would do. But these guys just write the stupidest shit for these wrestlers. Like if your arm was in a cast, then I said, well, you can't count 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, you can. You have another arm. like, like that would be so dumb.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it's like so ridiculous that they say this shit, and it's like, do they hear the words coming out of their mouth? Like, I this is where when people say, "Oh, it's the Attitude Era," no, it's not, because nobody in the Attitude Era said something that stupid.
That's true.
Like, come on now. Like, that's just ridiculous. And you can't, if you're going to have your champion say something, have him say something that's forceful, or just have him commit an action. Why doesn't, to me, if they're working out an angle, have Seth Rollins talk to CM, hey, I'm going to throw a punch at you. And then that's when Drew McIntyre is going to come in and I'm going to attack him. Do something like that, but don't have this where, oh, you're going to say something, I'm going to say something. Because if somebody wrote that line for CM Punk, first of all, why are you writing that line when the guy literally has one arm? If
Oh, yeah,
somebody
sure.
would, if somebody was standing in front of Arn Anderson in his prime with one arm, Arn Anderson would take the bad arm and break it some more. Or he would take the other arm and break it. Like, you ever see that AEW promo Arn Anderson cut on Cody Rhodes?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna send it to you when we're done here if I can find it. It's funny. This is when he was in AEW, and Arn Anderson said to him, I'm trying to remember the exact verbiage, but Arn Anderson goes, Cody, you're the type of guy, when someone comes on to take your spot, you just move aside. When
Oh wow.
someone comes along and takes my spot, I pull out my 9mm and point it to their head and pull the fucking trigger. And I'm just like, what?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like, bro, that's the old Arn Anderson, like, coming out. Like, that's what I mean. Like, the older wrestlers, they're not understanding some of these younger wrestlers' mentality. You're just letting people walk all over you. And then when The Rock comes out and Cody Rhodes steps aside, Arn Anderson was right. Like, and then when they have Cody Rhodes be like, "Oh no, I'm going to be the number one contender," and he smacks The Rock back, it's like, instead of being reactionary, go on the attack. Like, just because you're a baby face doesn't mean you can't go on the attack. Like, that's something that, look, Stone Cold Steve Austin went on the attack all the time.
Oh, that's true.
Like, it's. What do you think of the draft, the brand draft?
Honestly, it seems kind of pointless now. Like, it seemed like it made more sense when they obtained the WCW and ECW wrestlers. Well, I mean, that's the part of the brand extension, but yeah, it made more. But honestly, now it's just kind of weird because, like, now it's kind of okay, I know you were asking about the draft specifically, but the brand extension now seems more pointless because, there's not really a need for it anymore. So really, the draft kind of goes with that too. Like, it's like they might as well just have them on both now.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, okay, we've already had the draft, right? It doesn't stick. They never stick to it.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at
true too.
now.
It never sticks.
Yeah, they never stick to it. So what's the point of even having it? Like, who? First of all, no one cares about it. Like,
That's true.
nobody gives a shit, because there's no. They do this technically for Survivor Series, which is now War Games, but even that's stupid to do it for that.
Oh,
If
I
you
thought okay.
Like if you can, well, they used to do Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series. Well, okay, first of all, it doesn't matter. You work for the same company.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like I remember when WCW had a world tag team tournament, literally, and they had people from Russia, people from Japan, people all over. And yeah, you could say, well, they were under contract to WCW. Yeah, but those teams could still win that tournament. You know,
That's true.
that made more sense. With this, it's like you just have two brands who are under the same company's banner. It's like I could see like if you did what WCW did and brought like people from Russia, people from France to put into your draft and say, oh, we have too big of a roster for just two shows. First of all, no, they don't. And they have a nice size roster, but when you have a 3-hour show, number one, you need to make the most of that 3 hours. SmackDown, I guess, is going to go to the USA Network when their contract expires. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But I just, and that's another thing too. What do you think of, we know Raw is going to go to Netflix, but what do you think you think their content's going to improve once they go there?
Honestly, probably not.
Yeah. Is TNA on television anymore?
I think it is, but I don't know what channel it's on.
I could be wrong. Isn't there a channel? I know they're owned. They're either owned by a company called Anthem, or they're on a channel called Anthem. One or the other. I forget which. Tells how long I haven't watched TNA wrestling. I remember when they were on Spike TV though, which is now a Paramount channel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, though for those that don't know, Paramount, yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, Paramount. For those that don't know, Viacom doesn't exist anymore. Now it's Paramount, but yeah, for some reason they changed Spike to the Paramount Network, but I don't know why.
Well, Paramount probably bought them out. So
no, it's kind of complicated. See, Spike was owned by Viacom, and I think Viacom might have merged with another company and became Paramount. Like for those that don't know, Paramount is the company now. Like Paramount owns like MTV and Nickelodeon and probably a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. They merged with CBS too.
Yeah, I think that might be what Paramount is. I think it might be like CBS and Viacom merged, but I'm not sure. I'm not really 100% sure.
You ever see the show The Prisoner?
Oh no, I don't think I have.
It's on Tubi for free. It's one season. You gotta go watch it. It's rumored that Christopher Nolan is gonna remake it. So.
Oh, okay. The thing with Paramount, it's a little complicated for those that don't know. Like, for those who might be talking about, like, wait, I thought Paramount existed before that. That's what's weird. Is Paramount was a division of Viacom. I know it's weird because it's the company name now, but it was a division of the company that used to exist.
Yeah.
I know it's really weird.
I just remember Paramount because Jason used to reside there.
Oh yeah. I think they lost the rights to that though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, New Line Cinema owns it now. Yeah, I think. Or did they don't? I don't know. Like how these franchises go around.
I know. Well, I know. Like, I think that whenever the Crystal Lake series happens, that's going to be on Peacock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is on Peacock.
Which that'll be interesting to see what they do there. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Where do you think Halloween will land on what streaming service?
I'd have to guess. I would say, you know what? Maybe Netflix. I was thinking Peacock, but see, Peacock might actually cause a conflict because it has the Friday 13th show.
Yeah. I could see. I'm with you. I think Halloween's gonna go to Netflix, and I'll tell you why. Because when Netflix does a slasher, they'll let you do whatever the fuck you want. So they'll leave you alone, basically, which I like. I mean, but look, no matter what streaming service you have, and I've said this too, you're gonna find some shows on there you like, and you're gonna find some shows on there you just don't. Like, there's a show on there I watched called Dark. It was really good, but it was only 3 seasons. So then there was
Right.
Archive 81, and it only lasted 1 season. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. But here's the thing: Archive 81 is a podcast you can go listen to too. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
it's on Amazon. So yeah, it's really good. It's really,
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, speaking of streaming services, I was actually gonna unsubscribe to Paramount Plus because for those that don't know, there's this docu series called Quiet on Set, and I no longer support Nickelodeon because of what I found out about them. But I was actually gonna subscribe to Paramount Plus, but they actually decided to give me an offer for 2 months free. So do with that as you will.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, when you take on a company like Nickelodeon that has so many skeletons in their closet, what do? I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it does
I
suck though. Like, oh yeah, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it does suck though, because I like some Nickelodeon shows, but even if I do start supporting them again, I will never support Dan Schneider shows anymore.
Yeah, I think anybody who wants to do something to kids is a real psycho. They're a real nut job, That's I can't even imagine. That's
You
just
know it's
sick.
okay. And what's depressing is there was actually 4 convicted, pedophiles that worked there. I mean, they weren't convicted. Well, one of them was actually convicted, but I mean, like, confirmed. If not counting Dan Schneider, there was at least 4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And what's even
That's
crazier is one of them, the one that touched, well, excuse my language, but with Drake Bell, he actually ended up working for Disney after that.
yeah.
Oh, you probably don't know that because this is mentioned in the documentary. I don't know. Did you actually watch it?
No, I recently just watched like when that Drake guy, he was talking about the day he went in the courtroom when that guy was on trial. So that was on YouTube. That wasn't very long.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that was pretty sad. Yeah, for those that don't know who that is, yeah, Drake Bell. It's kind of he playing Drake and Josh. I know it's weird, but Nickelodeon Disney used to do this thing where like the characters would be named after the actors.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty. That docu series is pretty sad.
Oh, what's like if you like go like when you look at the original Blues Clues, when they were doing it, the reason they were doing Blues Clues is because of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and they couldn't think of a name for like the character, and he said, "Well, what if I use Steve Burns?" Said, "Well, what if I use my real name?" Which he said he did, but he did actually regret a bit.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my
Oh, yeah,
god.
for those that are wondering, no, he did not die. There was a rumor back in the day that he went to jail for drugs, and some people said he died. Neither one is true. It's just more BS that got spread around.
No, he didn't die. It's weird. At the time people said he died, he was actually on an episode of SVU.
That is pretty weird.
Like, I'm like, wait, he didn't die? There he is. Like, what are people talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I think he just wanted to expand his acting career.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because some people are still trying to spread around, but I don't know how people think he died because he even I know because he's actually on the new Blues Clues as well. Like, and he
Yeah,
even gave them his blessing.
yeah. I know he directed some episodes of that too. Because my kids were watching that.
Oh yeah, I think the other guy Joe was also on there.
Yeah, he was on there.
Oh, I saw this one thing too. People said I must be getting old as fuck because I don't know who this is. And they showed the UK version. It's like that. If you didn't watch it in the UK, you probably don't know who that is. I only know because of people mentioning who that is.
Uh, there was. You ever play Made a Skr?
I don't think I have.
There's a picture. There's a picture there in this game of a bulldog. Somebody needs to mod that and make it a painting of the British bulldog from wrestling. That'd be funny.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh my god! Yeah. So when do you think we're gonna get a new Resident Evil game, Daniel?
I'm not sure. Maybe in 2 years.
Yeah, I can see that.
You think it's going to be a remake of Resident Evil 5, or do you think there's going to be a Resident Evil 9?
Ooh, I think here's what I'll say. I think if we get another game, I think we will get Resident Evil 9. But I think sometime before that, we're going to get a remake of Code Veronica.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know what I mean? But now, do I think it needs remake? No, not really. But, some people do. And that's fine. I do think we get Resident Evil 9, but I think we get a remake first before we get. I think though, because remember they did 2, and they turned right back around and worked on 3. I think the difference this time will be, I think they're secretly working on both, and they're just not letting the cat out the bag, like they did for 2 for years. For 2, everyone's like, "Oh, remake Resident Evil 2." You know this, and just one day out the blue, because it's like, oh, we're not going to get Resident Evil 2 remake, and then suddenly, out of the blue, Capcom's like, guess what?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I don't know if you know that, but there was actually fan remix, but there was one called Resident Evil 2 Rebirth, and I guess that's sort of why they made the official remake. And I guess the people who developed that were even offered a job at Capcom. Maybe that's not true because that actually ended up becoming Daymare 1998. But it's like, seems like if they were offered a job at Capcom, they would have accepted it.
Yeah. I did hear Daymare was a bit like Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, but yeah, there was actually even like screenshots of it too. Like there was like one with like Leon, and it even showed like how Resident Evil is now. It showed in that, and I was actually thinking that looked kind of cool. But obviously Capcom did a better job because they're obviously an official company.
I gotta tell you, one day I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I had a flaming arrow, and there was this NPC, and I just shot him off his horse. I shot my flaming arrow at him, and he lit on fire while he was on his horse, which caused the horse to like buck him, and he's there on the ground burning. My wife's like, "Why'd you shoot that guy?" I said, "Because I could."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I heard if you kill too many people, you can eventually find widows.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's if you have bad reputation. I'm not sure. Something like that.
Well, that's the thing too. Like it depends on what town you go into, because with that certain, if you go into Valentine, there'll be people like, "Hey, have you seen this person?" And it's like, "Oh wait, did I shoot that guy?" like, because it's not like the person. Like with NPCs, like it's not like they have the name on, like a name badge on their ass. They don't.
Oh yeah.
It's like you don't know who the hell you're shooting at. Now, if you were shooting at a player, yeah, you do. You see their name and shit. And it's like somebody headshot my ass, and I went right off my horse. I'm like, somebody just Lee Harvey Oswald me.
Oh wow.
Like off my horse. Like no. And then they were gone. They were just gone. Oh my god. See now, like I do, like with Red Dead Redemption, I think we'll get a remaster of 1 or a remake of 1 before we get Red Dead Redemption 3.
Okay, I could see that.
Like, I think that's coming before that. Again, I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. What's your prediction for WrestleMania? Who are you taking?
I would say, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes will probably either they will, yeah, I think they will win against Roman Reigns and The Rock, but um, I'm not sure. Maybe Cody will win this year. It kind of seems like they will. Maybe they'll actually lose the match I mentioned, to make it more of a build up,
Yeah. I think The Rock and Roman win the tag match. All right. Which, and whoever wins the tag match, they'll be the guest referee. Rock will be the guest referee, right? And so The Rock will be the referee. Roman Reigns is gonna be winning the match. He'll go to pin him. Rock will go to 1, 2. Then he'll be like, it doesn't matter if I count 3, and then he'll rock bottom like Roman Reigns and shit. And Cody Rhodes will win. I do have a predict. I think Seth Rollins. I'll take Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre beats Seth Rollins because they can't keep having long title reigns. It just doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's true.
I would like to see Damian Priest win a title, but I don't think it's going to be this WrestleMania. I know he has the Money in the Bank, I think. But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, he does. I wonder what they're planning on doing with that because he's had it for a while now,
Yeah, I know. He's had it for a good while. I could see him cashing it in at Mania, but I think that would really depend on if Seth Rollins somehow beats Drew McIntyre. But again, I think CM Punk should be the referee for that one. I don't know how you don't write CM Punk as the referee, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. Maybe they will in the coming weeks. We'll see. It's just crazy right now. Do you watch AEW at all? Because I don't really pay attention to it.
Actually, I did when it first started airing, but I kind of stopped,
Yeah, it's crazy now. There's a bunch of WWE people on there.
That's true.
Like, what happened to not making the same mistakes as Eric Bischoff? Like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember when there was all those indie wrestlers on. I'm thinking, who are all these young looking people?
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because my wife's like, why you notice they're young? I'm like, why? She goes, because you're old. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. I tell you a game I want to see remade. Legacy of Kain.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That would be nice. I'd like to see that game remade. That game was awesome for the old Sega Genesis. The old
one game they should consider remaking, they haven't already. Like, I forgot what the exact title, but there was a Mortal Kombat game that was actually about Sub-Zero. That'd be cool to remake.
I think it was just called Sub-Zero. It may have been. I remember the game you're talking about. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Like, I don't know how. I don't know. That might be one thing that's better in execution than actual. I mean, better in theory,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think that there was this one game like when I was a kid. What was it? Oh, see, but they don't need. I don't know if they need to remake it because it's still available to play. You ever play Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
Oh, you know what I have? I actually, my family actually had that on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. That game's nuts.
Yeah, remember when your neighbor got killed and there was like an angel,
Yeah, guys with chainsaws cutting through the hedges. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. Did you have it on the Super Nintendo, or did you have that on the Genesis, or whatever it was on? Whatever else
I
it was on.
I had it on the Genesis. I had it on
Oh,
the Genesis.
okay. Did you when did you have to use a code to like go back to where you were at?
Um, I don't. Well, no, I don't recall a code because I never remember using a code. But then again, I'm old, so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For those that don't know, like the Super Nintendo had like, let's just say limitations. So sometimes some games you actually had to use a code to like go back to where you were at.
the
I'm saying maybe Genesis didn't have that though, because I think Genesis was a little more advanced.
yeah. But here's the thing about the Super Nintendo, and I remember the Super Nintendo had better games.
I wouldn't doubt it. It does seem like that's something that happens a lot.
Like I remember that. Uh, Everybody remembers Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah. What? Oh yeah, that was on the Super Nintendo. Actually, I almost said it was on the 64, but no, the 64 one was Donkey Kong 64. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact for those that don't know, Donkey Kong Country was, even though it was on the Super Nintendo, it was actually in 3D.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the first. Was that the first game to be in 3D, or one of the first?
It was, I believe it was the first because keep in mind, see, originally Final Fantasy VII was slated for the Super Nintendo,
Oh, that's interesting.
but then Sony comes out with PlayStation. We get Resident Evil, and they kept messing around with the 3D stuff a little more, and they released Final Fantasy VII on that. So I do believe Donkey Kong Country was one of the first 3D ones. I do that, and what was the Mario game that was released in 3D on it? I think that was that, and that those were the first two. I think.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure which Mario one that was. I know there was a few Mario games. Like a lot of people might not be aware of this because I didn't know until like I was an adult, but apparently there was a Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah, there was a Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo.
But that's it's funny because I only knew about, I thought the 64 one was the first one, but no, it turns out it's actually the second one.
No, no, the Super Nintendo had the first Mario Kart. What was the? Oh, I'll tell you the best game on Super Nintendo. You ever played Mario RPG?
Oh no, I actually haven't.
No, that game was a lot of fun. Um, that game was crazy. Uh, could be
I used to
Bowser.
have a Super Mario World though.
Yeah, yeah. The Mario games have always been fun. So, I remember when they like the playing Link for the first time, and A Link to the Past, and my character died, and the blood spilled on the ground. Like, Mom, I think that's blood.
Oh yeah,
Mom says, "Yeah, honey, that's blood. That's a blood."
oh yeah. You know what's weird is some people have been trying to tie. I'm not really a big fan of Zelda, but some people have been trying to tie the timelines of the old ones and new ones together. But I always just assumed it was like Final Fantasy, where like, you know, like that started a new, when it became 3D, it became a new universe. You know, well,
Oh
kind of like Final
God,
Fantasy, not exactly like it.
oh God, tying the Zeldas together. God be with you.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because I can give a reason why that doesn't make sense, and it's from the old ones specifically. In the old ones, the Zoras were bad guys, and they were like these weird plant-like things. In the 64 ones, they were like these, they were good, and like they were white and like blue.
You ever play Majora's Mask?
Oh, you actually have.
Yeah, that game's crazy.
Have you ever heard of the creepypasta Ben Drowned?
No.
Oh, that's actually centered around that, believe it or not.
I do. The one thing I remember most about Majora's Mask was Zelda with Link, with being Link and shit. is like if you had a certain like mask on or certain outfit on, the shop owners were racist as fuck.
I didn't. I actually didn't realize that. That's actually interesting.
Like they won't sell you if you have a certain outfit on. It's like, you motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For those that don't know, that's another one that's unique. Like, say you wear a Zora mask, you actually become a Zora.
Yeah, yeah. And you may not get served in a certain shop.
Yeah.
You know what? You take your spell that could, oh, heal me and shove it up your ass.
Oh yeah. Would you all
Yeah.
consider that a horror game?
Majora's Mask, yeah, pretty much. It is. It's close. It's the closest Zelda horror game we got.
Oh yeah. For those that don't know, if you don't like like get to that thing in time, well, like you have to play a song to keep going back time. And for those that know, if you don't do that, the world will actually end.
Yep. The world will go bye, and then you'll have to start all over. And guess what? Even when you start over and you're in a different thing, yes, the shop owners are still discriminative.
Oh wow. One thing I did hate though is you can only wear there's like a mask that turns you into an adult. Well, kind of like, but it's kind of sucks is even after you beat the game, you can only use it in the area at the end.
You know what kind of game they need to? I think they made it for handheld, but I don't know. They need to make a Bowser game, just where you can be Bowser and fucking just crush everybody.
I mean, you can in the Super Smash Brothers games.
Yeah, Smash Brothers is awesome for that reason. You can be Sephiroth, Cloud, you can be Bowser, and here's the thing: my kids beat the shit out of me all the time. And yes, this is recorded, so yes, my kids. I am Batman, and my kids are Bane, and they break my back. Yes, that happens in the game.
Oh yeah, PlayStation kind of tried to make their own version. I called like PlayStation All Stars, I think.
I'll tell you, like to me, the characters I'm best with are Cloud, are all Final Fantasy VII characters. Cloud and Sephiroth. Those are the two I'm best with. I did get some wins in on my kids with them. Bowser, he's rough. Bowser, like if you hit somebody and you're Bowser, like you're knocking their life down a lot. But I'll tell you who's a real pain in the ass is fucking Sonic. That dude, like he moves so quick, and when he hits you, it's like, what was that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's interesting bringing him up because one thing I wanted to point out, you might know, I think it was the second one, might have been the first one too, but apparently I think it was Melee. Like they wanted Sonic to be in it, but at the time Sega and Nintendo couldn't make an agreement.
I guarantee you, the next Smash Brothers, Knuckles will be in it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I guarantee you, Knuckles will be in the next Smash Brothers. He better be.
Oh yeah. Are you glad that like Sega and Nintendo, are working together now?
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. That's the thing. Sega still exists, but it only makes games.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
true.
have a console. And no offense. Thank God. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Atari went that direction too.
Yeah, I mean, like the funniest game I remember from Sega was Sewer Shark, which was a pain in the ass. You were literally in a ship destroying rats in a sewer, and if you went the wrong way in the sewer, you crashed into a fucking wall.
Oh wow.
So, just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. I remember playing that at a friend's house, and I said, "What is this point of this game?" He's like, "What you got to do when they say 12, when they say this, you go that way, and sometimes they mix it up on you, and you got to shoot the rats. You can't let the rats touch you." I can't tell you how many times I hit the wall on that game. I think I went the wrong way. Yeah, I went the wrong way.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that would suck. Oh yeah, one thing you might not know, like it's kind of interesting. Like For those, some people might be shocked by this, but the original Xbox was going to have backwards compatibility with Dreamcast games.
I believe that.
Yeah, the reason why they didn't do that is, well, Sega and Microsoft couldn't make a deal. The reason why that is Sega wanted to have like online connectivity for their games too, and obviously that probably wouldn't have worked out that well.
Yeah.
You know what's actually funny about the Xbox and PlayStation? The Xbox and PlayStation have something else in common too. They were both originally going to be Nintendo systems.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I know it's weird, but yeah, we're basically the same thing. Sony, there was going to be the Nintendo PlayStation, and it was a deal between Sony and Nintendo. But see, Sony wanted to switch to discs, and Nintendo wanted to stick with cartridges. So then Sony said screw it and decided to make their own system. I don't know the story behind Xbox though, to be honest.
Yeah. What's your favorite Super Nintendo game?
A Super Nintendo, I would say Super Mario World.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. I'd say Link to the Past for me because I'm a Zelda mark.
Oh yeah, that game was pretty good.
Favorite N64 game?
Oh, that's actually a tough one. I'm gonna go with Perfect Dark, but I would say that the Zelda games on that system was good too.
NWO WCW Revenge. That game was just nuts.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah, for those who have not played Perfect Dark, I'd recommend it. You could actually still play on an Xbox because it was made by Rare, and that's one of the ones that Microsoft ended up buying.
Obviously for the PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy 7. What about you, Daniel?
I'm gonna say Resident Evil.
Yeah. PS2. I'm gonna say Resident Evil 2 because I played the hell out of that game on that.
Oh, you know what? Now that you mentioned it, I actually forgot because I played on the 64, but I'm gonna go with Resident Evil 2 for PlayStation 1, and I'm actually gonna go with SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 for PS2.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's a funny game. I think I don't know. Yeah, I already said N64. How about for the old Sega Genesis? You got one?
I didn't really play the Genesis that much, but I would say the old Sonic games were good.
Legacy of Kain, hands down. It was
just
that game was so badass. I mean, great vampire game, fun to play. Let me see. I didn't play. Well, I didn't play the original Xbox till way later. Silent Hill 2, obviously on the original Xbox. So. By the way, to the woman in Silent Hill 2, no one likes you.
how do you feel about them remaking that?
I don't know. I've heard some mixed things about it, but I'll wait and see what happens when the game comes out. Maybe they'll patch some things.
Hopefully.
Like, don't remake it, but don't change how the creatures are. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what I liked about That's what I like about The Last of Us Part 1. It's a remake of The Last of Us, but they kept the storyline, everything the same.
Yeah. Like, my favorite Silent Hill, like, I like Silent Hill 1 and 2, but I really enjoyed playing Silent Hill 3 because it was something so different. But Silent Hill The Room is definitely one to play. That game's just fucking creepy. I have a game for you. I have a recommendation for you. Amnesia: The Bunker. You can go in a World War I bunker and get chased the hell out of by some creature that is literally going to rip you apart.
That reminds me. Have you ever played I almost said The Last of Us. Sorry, I meant the Evil Within.
I played the first one, not the second one.
I'd say the second one's good too, but yeah, the first one, it makes you feel vulnerable,
Yeah, the first one basically is Silent Hill like, and like you're trying to escape from this guy and your leg is already hurt, and it's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, I don't know if you know, but yeah, the guy that made the old Resident Evil games was involved in making that too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to think of the other horror game that I played. I forget what it's called. Oh shit, what is it? See, certain games have horror element. It's not a horror game, but if you've ever played Thief 4 Deadly Shadows on the PC, there's a board called the Shell Bridge Cradle. Okay. Now you go to the Shell Bridge Cradle and you learn, well, it was a orphanage. Well, you also learn it was an insane asylum. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Then you learn, oh no, it was an orphanage and an insane asylum at the same time.
Oh wow.
Like, what the fuck? And then you learn there was a fire. Then you learn some of the patients may have been, mistreated, and some of the orphans went missing or died. It's like, and that place is so haunted. It has its own heartbeat. It breathes. The ghosts are trying to kill you. So you got to sneak around and not get seen and steal shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto 4?
Yes.
Oh man, have you ever went to that the Statue of Liberty that's in it? I know it's not called that, but
Oh, well, wait, you're meaning like three, there's four. Are you meaning Vice City or the.
Oh, and Grand Theft Auto 4, the one with Nico.
Oh, okay. No, I did not play that one. I thought you were meaning Vice City. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. But yeah, if you go in the Statue of Liberty, or I forgot what it's called. I think it's called the Statue of Happiness or something like that, or maybe seems like Statue of Freedom would make more sense. But yeah, if you go inside of it, there's actually a beating heart.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, Rockstar, you bastards.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of which, though, you mentioned Vice City. There's an Easter egg in Vice City that's literally an Easter egg. I think I might have told you. Maybe I told you before, but yeah, it's like an egg, and it says like Happy Easter. It's like behind it. It's like behind a wall.
I tell you, the one mission I always failed on purpose, like every time on Vice City, was the Love Fist mission. I just did not give two shits.
Oh, the one where like you have to, there's an explosive.
Yeah, you're driving around. They're trying to disarm this bomb, and they're like, "Oh, don't run into anything." I would literally just take that fucking limo and drive it into anything I could. I did not care. And then finally, I figured, you know what? I better go ahead and pass this mission.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I failed it so many times because it's like, listen, if you want Love Fist dead, I'll kill him for you.
Oh yeah, it's understandable. You know what's weird? I was listening to their songs like late last year, but what's weird is I remember their songs being better than they are.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. When you're I remember playing what was it, San Andreas? You ever play that one?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
When I remember going to like the Clucking Bell and that one guy ordering all that food, and I'm like, this has got to be the worst cutscene I've ever seen in the game. Somebody ordering this much food.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Have you ever beaten it?
Yeah, years ago I beat it.
Oh yeah. For those that haven't played, this is a spoiler, but yeah, Big Smoke was the reason he wasn't helping in that mission is because he was actually involved.
Yeah, he was involved in TJ or whatever his name was, mother getting killed and stuff. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. How did you feel about the train mission?
I don't remember I don't remember much about the train mission. The mission I remember most in that game was when you go to save Carl's brother. And he ends up going to jail. It's like the middle of the game.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that mission was to me harder than the final boss. Though I will give them credit for how they did the final boss. That was different. So
yeah, the train mission is probably more known for when you fail. I don't remember it being that hard, but I was, a teenager when I played it. But yeah, after you fail, like Big Smoke says all you had to do is follow the damn train, CJ, and he's like, it's like he's the one that's shooting, so it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I know which one you're talking. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Follow
I know. I
the
used to.
damn train.
Okay,
Yeah, follow the damn train.
I admit I used to cheat on the racing one though, because what I would do like before the racing ones, I'd blow all the other cars up, so didn't have to I basically I cheated because I blew them up, so I didn't have to worry about like them getting in my way.
Well, the biggest problem with the racing in like Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and I noticed this with all Grand Theft Autos is the race cars run into you. They like try to wreck you, and it's like son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, that technique I just told you about doesn't work in Grand Theft 5. If you try in Grand Theft 5, you fail the mission.
Oh my god, those bastards.
Yeah, so you gotta. I don't know what happens. That's where it's kind of confusing because it's street racing, but that's where it's confusing. I know you're not really supposed to kill people or anything, but that's the thing too, because street racing is notoriously known to be like, not real. Be kind of rule free.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's illegal, obviously, no matter what.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I would do with Grand Theft Auto, when the one with the three guys in it. I would take Trevor, and I would literally have him parachute out of an airplane with no parachute. I would just let him say fuck it.
Oh yeah.
Just to see.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
As much as I like the Grand Theft Auto games, yeah, the reason why, like I said, I did with the San Andreas mission is like, well, you kind of mentioned the run you, but yeah, Grand Theft Auto, like, I hate the racing missions. They annoy me.
Some of the missions are just ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Now, one thing I don't mind, at least with Franklin, they gave him an ability that made it a little more tolerable to race, but it's still like, you still have to worry about all the other crap.
Well, here's the thing with like when you're Franklin, you have to do the race missions. What you do is you make sure you execute your turns properly, because here's the thing, like the person who taught me about racing in Grand Theft Auto literally said, motherfucker, if you fuck up, I will literally punch you in the head. And I'm like, okay, don't want punch. So that's what my friend would do to me. And I'm like, if he punches me, I'm just going to kick him right in the face. So I was just like, fucker. And I did this stunt, like this guy T-boned me and my car went in the air. And here's the thing, when he T-boned me, he T-boned the other two cars too. He like ran into them, causing them to stop. When I land on top of the car that was in first, it stopped, it put me in first, and then I went the rest of the way and I won the race. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, yeah, justice is served. And my friend's like, you didn't do a goddamn thing to win that race. I'm like, yeah, I did. I crossed the finish line.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Oh shit.
Oh, if you don't mind me asking, I know we've already changed topics, so it's probably not. But yeah, to bring back a topic we talked about earlier, are you gonna support Nickelodeon anymore?
I haven't watched Nickelodeon in years. I mean,
that's understandable.
That's the thing. Like, I personally don't watch Nickelodeon. Like, I'll watch, like, a lot of the Paramount movies I own. Like, I own, like, when Friday the 13th, I own Top Gun. I own all the Mission Impossibles. So,
oh yeah,
like, to me, like, that's what I mean. I'd rather have something on physical media than just stream something. Like, unless I absolutely have to watch it on stream. That's like, okay, like tomorrow I'm reviewing The Third Man. I own that movie, so I watched it already.
Oh yeah. So, and actually, it's interesting you say that, because Paramount Plus did something really weird. They removed 10 Nickelodeon shows, but here's the thing. None of the shows that are moved have anything to do with Dan Schneider. And it's weird. It's the newer versions. Like, they removed the Rugrats reboot, the Blue's Clues reboot or sequel, whatever, and the Ari for the Dark reboot. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I don't think these are released on physical media, but a lot of people are saying, well, see, that's why physical media is better,
Yeah, because you can buy it and not worry about if something gets pulled.
Now, the Rugrats reboot is weird. I don't know if you know a lot about Rugrats, but they made some really weird changes. Like, for some reason, the grandpa is now a hippie, which I guess does make sense because the time period he would have lived. But it's like, why he doesn't really have to be a hippie just because he lived in that time period.
No, he doesn't.
And for some weird reason, they made Kimmy Angelica's age. But that's where it's weird because then they made Susie the baby's age. It's like, what the hell?
I remember the original Rugrats briefly, but you ever watch Ren and Stimpy?
Oh yeah, I actually have. Did you know they made an adult version of that later on?
No, I did not.
Oh yeah, for Spike TV, there was a version called Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon.
Oh my god! I remember watching All Real Monsters and stuff like that, but when I was a kid, I was younger. So.
Oh yeah. Not trying to ruin your childhood, but it's possible that Ren and Stimpy was made by yet another pedophile.
Probably.
I know how true this is, and for those that don't know, I'm making it clear. I don't know how true this is, but I think I heard that he had a 15 or 16-year-old girlfriend.
Damn.
Yeah, so there was weird stuff going on in the Nickelodeon, in the cartoon side too. I know people thought the cartoon side is safe, but no, it's not.
Nah. No, when you have pedophiles working for you, nothing is safe. That's a thing. It's just crazy that people would do that to kids. I mean, that's just insane. So.
Oh yeah, I know. I said like I don't support Nickelodeon. Like I hope I'm not overreacting. Because
No.
it's over a documentary. But the documentary revealed some pretty messed up stuff.
No, I mean, here's the thing: companies can make money by having good content, but they can also make money without having people who are mistreating your talent. It's like, come on now.
Oh, yeah,
They should. Hollywood knew about Victor Silva, and they didn't give a shit, and they still let him do movies.
Oh yeah, and he actually ended up working for Disney too. And for those that don't know, no, we're not talking about the same guy. They really hired 2 pedophiles after they were convicted.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of course, and they used the same excuse both times too. They said we didn't know he was a sex offender. It's like, huh? Did you not do a background check?
Like, how did you not know? Oh my god.
Brian Peck. I know people might have realized, just found out who Brian Peck is, but I think Brian Peck was on the news, wasn't he? I mean, when he got busted.
He probably was. I believe, again, that was so long ago. He probably was, though. I wasn't much of a news person when I was younger, so.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's understandable.
Like, my news was like America's Most Wanted and Unsolved Mysteries. So if it wasn't on there.
Oh, yeah. I want to say Victor Salva's arrest was too, but to be honest, Victor Salva wasn't as well known, when he got arrested.
Yeah. He became well known later.
That's true. And I actually don't know if this is true as this. For those that don't know, sometimes not everything I say is true, but I saw someone say that Jeepers Creepers is based on his own personal fantasy. But like I said, I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know either. That's just crazy.
Yeah, Wibby, there's still fans of those movies too,
Here's the thing: you could be a fan of that movie, but to me, like, I won't ever watch it again because, like,
okay,
he made it. I mean,
oh yeah. Those to be clear, yeah, we're not saying don't watch them. If you like them, go ahead and watch them.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna watch them. So
that sort of thing with Nickelodeon, because I was thinking maybe I was overreacting, but see, I'm not telling other people not to watch Nickelodeon or support Nickelodeon. I'm saying I'm not going to.
Right. that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what sucks though, is like Hey Arnold is a pretty good show, but then again, like there's other good shows out there.
Yeah. I watch a 60s Gothic soap opera. So there's that.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, there you go. Dark Shadows.
One thing but like all that, I don't think I can go back to those just knowing what happened on the set of them.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I mean, it shows what happens when the company is just pure greed.
Oh yeah, and actually another one, I don't know how they got away with, like Brian Peck. Yes, the guy we were talking about earlier, Brian Peck actually played in all that as well, but he played a character called Pickle Boy, and there's one skit I don't know how they got away with. He had he put a pickle in a glory hole. You know how there was a bathroom they call a glory hole. He put a pick on a glory hole. It's like, how the fuck did they get away with that?
Yeah, seriously, that's crazy.
I know a lot of people point out like the pickles looked like, I don't know if I should say, but
Yeah, they look like a penis. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that seemed worse. It was him too, of all people. Like, for those that don't know, this guy was an actor. The sad part is his career was not ruined by his arrest. Now I'm not just talking about Disney. He continued to play in movies after that too.
That's crazy.
And actually, another thing is too, he worked on Charlie Sheen's show, Anger Management. But here's the thing: he apparently was on the set of 2.5 Men, but I guess he didn't work for 2.5 Men. He was just on the set. It's like, why does Charlie Sheen have this guy? There's been some rumors about Charlie Sheen, but why does he have someone convicted of that actually in his trailer? That's really weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That's messed up.
Yeah, I don't know if. Oh yeah, I don't know if you heard about Charlie Sheen though. If you know what I'm talking about.
I've heard some brief things about him.
Oh, Corey Haim. You know the other Corey.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't remember which movie it was, but apparently, Charlie Sheen, sexually assaulted him on the set of that set when Haim was a teenager.
That's crazy.
And what's messed up is apparently him and Corey Feldman tried to tell on him, but the other adults didn't really care. Well, they didn't do anything. I shouldn't say they didn't care, but they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, because Charlie Sheen had a lot of power. But
yeah, that's true too. And actually, what's weird is people say, for people that don't know, people might say, like, why didn't they speak up? Here's the thing: Corey Feldman gave the Hollywood police a list of pedophiles in Hollywood, but they were more interested in Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Now on the guy who didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what's messed up. And I know people are probably gonna say he did, but here's the thing, though: the only people, it seems like everyone says he didn't do it. And I know there was that documentary or docuseries called Really Neverland, but for those that don't know, that was canceled because the info was wrong.
Yep. Yeah, the time, the dates. Like when you're getting time and dates wrong, your story isn't true. So
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Hope people don't cruise so good.
No, here's the thing too. Like the one guy who was accusing him, I said, "Oh, I had Thanksgiving dinner at Michael Jackson's house at his big estate. The estate wasn't built yet. Like that makes no sense.
Again, on the Thanksgiving, one of them say he spent with him. He was also touring for his album Bad at the time.
Yeah, it was on the Bad tour. It's like it makes no sense.
Oh yeah, for those, I hope people don't crucify us because we're defending Michael Jackson, but we're actually stating facts though. This is confirmed stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. People would rather throw false accusation and believe fake bullshit. So it's like people are just crazy.
That's true. And another one is like he had a skin disease. I don't know if you know, that's why his skin turned white.
Yeah, that I heard about.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, that's why he started wearing the iconic one glove. He was actually covering the spots on his hand.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's pretty common knowledge.
Now, I guess he did use cream to, make his skin white, but that was because the disease was, already, spreading.
Yeah, it's crazy. Is there anything you want to add before we go, man?
Oh yeah, hopefully WrestleMania is good. I don't know if I should have my hopes up too high though.
I hope it's good too. I hope they put on a good show, but not just WrestleMania. I hope they put on good shows afterwards. For Daniel Culver, I'm Joel Saints. Link to Killenberg's channel will be in the description box. Go check him out. He's very knowledgeable. He covers Dragon Ball, horror, and wrestling, obviously, and all sorts of other topics. Daniel, it is always a pleasure, sir.
Yes, it was a pleasure it was nice being on here. It was a pleasure too.
Take care, man.
If you too.